In today's video, we look at the question, am I a narcissist? I will look at it by examining 6 different points that distinguish between a narcissist and somebody just loving themselves. So please stay till the end if you want to have clarity on this very important and interesting subject. My name is Gerda Lou, Muse, Mystic and Master Manifestor, and I'm dedicated to bring you guidance and knowledge so that you can create the life that you truly desire. Narcissistic traits exist on a spectrum. There is something like healthy narcissism. We all have a bit of that. Not everyone who exhibits some of the narcissistic traits necessarily has narcissistic personality disorder, which is more severe and it's a clinically diagnosed form of narcissism. I just want to mention here that as it is extremely difficult for somebody who has a narcissistic personality disorder to even self-reflect or in any way acknowledge that they do have any problem, they seldom go for therapy where they can be diagnosed. Estimations vary between 1 up to 8% of the world population has this disorder. There are different categories of narcissism, and the categories are not exclusive of each other, so it may overlap. But the two main categories that I wish to just quickly define for you is grandiose narcissism and covert narcissism. Again, we should note that people can exhibit a mix of grandiose and covert narcissistic traits. So in short, grandiose narcissism is the one that most people immediately think of when we use the word narcissism. It's characterized by over displays of confidence, arrogance, and they believe in their own exceptional qualities, while a covert narcissist will have a more subtle expression of these traits where they appear more humble and sensitive on the surface, while they harbor a deep need for validation. Both the covert and the overt narcissist have a core belief of self-centeredness, a lack of genuine empathy for others, but outwardly they present differently. While narcissism and self-love may look like parallel concepts, there are profound differences between these two emotional realms. Let's look at the differences to give you some insight, because it's very important, as this underpins relationships, your perception of others, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being. Firstly, let's look at the origins and motivations of both narcissism and self-love. Narcissism is often rooted in a distorted self-perception. It emanates from an insatiable need for external validation. This is driven by unresolved childhood traumas and insecurities. Narcissistic tendencies lack a foundation of genuine self-worth. Contrary to this, self-love emerges from a healthy sense of intrinsic value. It's motivated by internal affirmations, and it's nurtured through self-awareness and personal growth. In the second place, let's look at the emotional foundations of both. Narcissism thrives on a fragile ego, which is easily wounded by criticism and often lead then to emotional manipulation as a defense mechanism. Empathy deficit in narcissistic individuals hinders authentic connections. They don't have empathy. So they can't create authentic connections with others. And this causes a cycle of superficial relationships. Self-love fosters emotional resilience through self-acceptance, genuine expression of emotions without manipulation. Self-love cultivates empathy for authentic connection. Thirdly, let's look at relationship dynamics. Narcissistic relationships tend to be exploitative and transactional. They lack the depth that's necessary for meaningful connections. This inability to form authentic bonds results in viewing others as mere extensions of oneself. That's why you might have heard that a narcissist objectify the persons they have relationships with, because they can't distinguish between themselves and the other person. Self-love, in contrast, manifests in healthy, reciprocal relationships where there is mutual respect, genuine intimacy, and appreciation of individual autonomy within the connections. Fourthly, let's look at how others are perceived. Narcissists have a competitive mindset. They constantly compare themselves to others. They can't celebrate their successes without feeling threatened. So the relationships that emerge are superficial, with a self-centric view, and it's geared towards personal gain. Self-love, compared to that, encourages and appreciates diversity and individual strengths. It fosters genuine connections and celebrates others, their successes, with authentic joy. Lastly, let's look at the impact on mental well-being of narcissism versus self-love. The mental well-being of narcissistic individuals rests on a fragile foundation with constant insecurity that stems from a precarious self-esteem. There may be anxiety and depression when external validation wanes, and shallow fleeting moments of happiness become contingent on external factors. In contrast, self-love underpins stable mental health through self-acceptance, instilling resilience in the face of challenges and setbacks, and sustainable happiness will emerge from internal sources independent of external validation. If we look at narcissism versus self-love, the key lies in introspection, self-awareness, and a commitment to personal growth. These characteristics are the characteristics of somebody who loves themselves. And if you cultivate self-love and avoid these narcissistic tendencies, you will find genuine happiness and fulfilling relationships and an understanding of your own authentic self. If you realize that you are displaying narcissistic tendencies, don't despair, because if you realize that in the first place you are willing to do introspection, and then the place to start is to go back to the subconscious mind to find out where the things lies that causes you to show these tendencies. What creates in you shame, a need for validation, and those tendencies that are not desirable. You can go back to my video about healing the inner child and also removing blockages that might stop you from manifesting your desired life. There you will find answers in the ways of how to address these challenges that you might face. But no, the fact that you are looking at this is very positive and an indication that you are not lying on the spectrum of high narcissistic tendencies or even narcissistic personality disorder. I trust you found this interesting. If you like this, found any value in it, please like and subscribe. And I'll speak to you in the next video. Till then, I send you my infinite love. Goodbye.